All right, let's dive in. We've got this really fascinating stack of sources today, and they paint this picture of a reality that, well, it operates under some truly mind-bending rules.
Yeah.
We're not just, reading a story here. We're looking at texts that describe a world where things like time and choice, even identity,
Yeah.
and their actual, tangible forces.
Exactly. Not just ideas. And these sources, they lay out this complex narrative. Yeah. But through the experiences of several different people.
Right.
But at their core, it's really a deep look at some profound themes. We're talking about the very fabric of reality itself.
Okay.
The weight, the unexpected power of the choices we make, the need, the absolute necessity, really, of confronting our own, internal fears and illusions.
Right. Inner stuff.
And what it actually means to transform, both inside ourselves and, well, the world around us.
And the setup is really intriguing. We meet these different people, seemingly separate lives, right? But each one starts to feel this pull, this questioning of the reality they're in.
Yeah, like something's off.
Exactly. And that questioning, it sets them off on these paths that eventually show them what their world is really like. And it leads them all to this point of convergence, huge consequences.
And the sources track these individual journeys first. We see their unique struggles, the little glimpses of truth they find before their paths inevitably cross. So we'll follow those trails, see where they lead when they finally, weave together.
Okay, let's start by unpacking Antom's journey then. The sources introduce us to his world first, defined by this rhythm, these looming towers, the constant swing of pendulum.
Right, very structured.
Very. And while others, like there's this character Nazar, they just accept it. But Antom feels this deep unease, like something is fundamentally wrong with it all.
He's haunted by these dreams too. Vivid ones. But not peaceful dreams. Dreams of eternal shattering.
Ooh.
Yeah. And this fuels this really powerful conviction in him. A world built on lies, as he sees it, just isn't worth keeping. It's not just academic for him, he feels it.
And then things escalate. The sources describe this moment where space itself just distorts around him. Reality starts twisting.
Yeah, it gets weird fast.
And this figure appears, cloaked, shadowed, piercing eyes, and tells him he's initiated a break. What even is this break?
Well, based on the texts, it seems like a disruption of the underlying rules, the system that runs their reality.
Okay.
And the immediate effect, time stops. That symbolic pendulum just halts mid-swing.
Wow.
And for someone like Nozar, who's totally part of that system, the reaction is instant. Anger, fear, confusion. Why is the tower silent? What did Antom do?
So Antom's immediately facing this huge choice, a massive dilemma.
Right.
He can try to destroy the core of this system, unleash what the sources call eternity, but maybe destroy everything in the process.
Yeah, the ultimate risk.
Or somehow he could become part of the system himself. And the sources mention this artifact he has. Sometimes it's a ball or a statuette, maybe a compass.
Yes, that artifact. It's fascinating. It seems deeply tied to his consciousness, and crucially, to his choices.
How so?
Well, it's not just an object. It pulses with his emotions, apparently. Flashes stronger when he thinks certain things. It feels like a tangible link to his ability to make conscious decisions in this very strange reality. Like his choice-making power is amplified by it.
Okay. Gotcha. So after this initial break happens, he has to face the people, right?
Yeah. And he's surprisingly calm, actually. Explains he gave them a chance for something real. Something without the system's lies.
How does that go down?
Predictably, it causes this immediate division. Some are hopeful, maybe cautious. Others are really resistant, angry even, clinging to the order they know, even if it's false.
And even with the break, the old system isn't totally gone, is it?
No, not at all.
Oh.
He finds this glowing red fragment, and he hears a voice say, they are returning.
Chilling.
It suggests the system isn't just like a physical thing you can smash. It might be more pervasive. Tied to consciousness, maybe? Or just the world's inertia.
Which leads to this really powerful moment in his journey, encountering his double, his shadow.
Right. And this figure isn't just some external bad guy. It's him. It embodies his deepest fears, his doubts, calls him a coward, says he's running away, not really choosing anything, just fleeing.
So how does he handle that?
And this is key. He doesn't fight it. He doesn't deny it. He accepts it. He actually says, I'm not a hero, I'm afraid, I doubt.
Wow.
And by acknowledging those things, the source suggests the shadow loses its power over him. It's this critical internal acceptance.
Then he enters the tower itself. described as a labyrinth of glass and light.
Yeah, a place of intense illusion, distorting reflections everywhere, showing him twisted versions of himself.
Like what?
Well, one reflection has these cold blue eyes, a mechanism for a heart. Like he's just a part of the machine he tried to break.
That's a serious head trip.
Absolutely. It feels like this profound test of his identity. The illusions try to make him doubt who he is, basically saying he's just a cog in the system.
But he pushes back.
He does. He has this crucial line. Even if this is true, we decide who to be. It's this powerful claim that our identity isn't just dictated by circumstance, It's about internal conscious choice.
So he keeps going, reaches the center, the motionless pendulum mechanism.
Right. And he presses his artifact into it. The world explodes in light.
Okay. So what's it like after that?
Deeply altered. The tower's still there, but warped, twisted. The pendulum's still motionless. Time's absence is felt, like a void, but also like a canvas. A new beginning.
And he gets visions.
He sees the world before time, harmonious apparently, motionless, no fear, but also soulless. And then he sees the system introducing time. And that brought emotion, creativity, conflict, but also struggle. Subjugation.
So it's complex, not just good or bad.
Exactly. And this leads Antom to this growing understanding. The break wasn't just him acting on the system, it was an internal transformation for him too.
He changed himself, not just the world.
Right, he became an active participant. And the source makes this really striking point. Illusions aren't always the enemy. Sometimes they would allow us to change, to see new possibilities.
So his steps forward now literally shape the new reality. He feels like a creator.
Yeah. And that red fragment he found becomes a key, a symbol of transition. The sources seem to reveal that true power here isn't about destruction, but about acceptance, understanding the forces at play.
And the world that emerges reflects who he became through that process.
Exactly. He feels this sense of completion, steps into the light, thinking his part is done. He walks through this new world, soft earth, bright sky, malleable.
But those system remnants are still around.
Still around. He sees them as these moving figures, persistent fragments. And he uses light to cleanse them, dissolve them. It's like a continued process of integrating or transforming the old.
Then there's that unsettling moment at the river.
Oh, yeah. That's weird. He looks for his reflection. Nothing. Just a broken clock face appears in the water.
Whoa.
Silence falls. His heart stops. It's not just a strange image. The source uses it to highlight the profound disorientation of losing time, losing identity maybe in this new state, the broken clock. It's the shattering of the old rhythm, right? Maybe questioning his own timeless existence now.
And then the woman on the hill.
Right. She drops this line that just adds another layer of doubt. Every step you take is calculated.
Making you wonder, is he really free? Or is this new reality also governed by something unseen?
Exactly. He descends, pulls a lever, mechanisms explode. He seems to understand instinctively. Only destruction and rebirth await now. He finds himself in this vortex of light, seeing all possible realities at once, infinite possibilities, threads of choice unraveling everywhere. And a voice confirms the ultimate takeaway from his whole journey. Choice is power. Every single choice creates a new reality.
Okay, wow. Heavy stuff indeed. Let's shift gears now to Lumis and Isley. Their journey feels different, right?
Yeah, different flavor, definitely. Lumis starts in what seems like this harmonious, almost ideal world. Platforms, towers. But he feels this deeper longing, wants knowledge beyond the perfect surface.
And he meets Isley.
Right. And the sources emphasize this mutual feeling they have, like a shared calling towards the towers. Destiny, maybe. But Isley carries this sadness about a past world that broke, and she's afraid of losing herself again and seeking change.
They enter some ancient gates.
Yeah, and the gates show them visions of destruction, like a test of their resolve.
Do they pass?
Lumis dismisses it, calls it illusion, says their bond is strong enough to break any prophecy. And that moment really solidifies their connection. They face the challenge together.
Their journey then takes them through some bizarre places.
Very bizarre. Landscapes seem to try and talk to them. They see glowing threads instead of water in a garden. The elements themselves seem alive, communicative.
And they had a labyrinth of reflections too, like Antom.
Similar, yeah. They see distorted versions of themselves. Lumis looks older, weary. They face those internal doubts. You are nothing more than shadows. But here, Isley's presence is crucial. She helps him resist the illusions, grounds him in their shared reality.
The labyrinth splits their path, light or dark.
It does. And Isley's focus isn't which path is right, it's we go together. They actually choose the darker, unknown path, prioritizing their unity over finding the supposedly correct way.
Interesting choice.
Very. They find doors leading into a tower filled with these glowing memory spheres.
Memories. Whose?
They realize they aren't just their personal memories,
Mm-hmm.
maybe collective ones, echoes of past realities. It helps them understand that their choices now aren't just personal. They're defining who they become in a larger sense, maybe integrating these vast experiences.
They reach a throne room. More spheres.
Yeah, feeling the weight of collective decision. Isley considers engaging with the past, represented by a black throne, to understand the illusion's source. But they move on. They see shadows of their fears, and Lumis's first instinct is just to destroy them.
But they find central tower gates, and Isley has a key.
Yes, another symbol of their shared path, her specific role. As they enter, they talk about the huge task ahead, creating a world where time isn't a prism.
That sounds daunting.
It is. Building it mentally causes anxiety. But Isley offers this crucial perspective. They will make mistakes, but it will be their creation, something they can rebuild if needed. It's this acceptance of imperfection in the creative process.
And like Antom, they find a fragment of the system, hear voices.
Exactly the same. Near a settlement, they are returning. That shared encounter really reinforces the threat isn't gone, adds to Isley's anxiety.
And they meet a shadowy figure, too.
Echoing the one Antom met. Tells them they broke the cycle, the truth is control, and they're just instruments. A really chilling moment that makes them question their agency. Was their choice even real? Test their conviction.
Another split path appears. Light-dark again.
Yep. And this time, Lumis uses their fragment. It acts like a map, guiding them, suggesting the dark path is still the one for them.
So they step into the darkness.
Enduring whispering voices, fears, memories. A collective test of faith this time. An obelisk. A voice saying only the fearless see the path. Their artifacts glow together, they step into a mirror together, and their shadows dissolve. It's not just Antom's individual victory over fear, it's shared transcendence through unity.
But they see possible futures.
Flashing images, yeah. Isley sees a terrifying one herself, solitary, broken. Lumis insists it's just a test, feeding on doubt, trying to break their unity.
The path splits again. This place keeps testing them.
Constantly. Warm light or cold dark this time. They find symbols on a wall, a clearer map now, guiding them deeper into the labyrinth's core. It's like reality itself is responding to their shared intent.
And they reach the center, the heart of the world.
Right. But it's not really a physical place. It's described as a state. They hear this faint hum, the sound of the world's heart. They understand it's a place beyond questions, where they're meant to become one with a constantly changing truth.
And then a creature appears. Light and shadow.
Yeah. And it delivers this core revelation. What they were seeking outside was actually inside them all along. Reality, the creature explained, is an interpretation of consciousness. Their actions don't just happen in it, they affect it, as a reflection of their essence.
Wow.
The creature also clarifies readiness. It's not about not being afraid. It's about acting despite the unknown. It stresses the world's fragility, held by choice, and refusing to choose. It has consequences, but maybe not what you'd expect. The universe just adjusts around the refusal.
Which leads them to their final huge choice.
Immense. Destroy the current dying world to create a new, one price unknown, or leave it to its fate. Lumis is torn, Isley feels the pain, but united, they decide, let's do this.
And they touch the creature.
The world trembles. Time bends. Reality twists. The universe is reborn. The old, repetitive prison world. Destroyed. The rigid system. Shattered by their collective conscious act.
Okay, meanwhile, Tarik and Aina, their path feels more inward from the start, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Tarik's journey kicks off with deep introspection, feeling watched, sensing destiny, but wrestling intensely with his own fear and doubt.
His search for truth turns inward pretty quickly.
Right. He realizes the answers aren't out there. They're inside him, which brings its own anxiety, right? Facing your own depths. He finds this point of stillness, feels this non-threatening presence, like a sign he's on the right track.
And he hears a voice inside him.
Yeah. Ancient, familiar, deep. Asks him, why did you come? Aimed right at his essence, his silent answer. Seeking truth, seeking identity.
He sees a light, a portal.
The voice of truth made manifest. He feels anxiety. It's presented clearly as a test of his will to face whatever he finds.
And the voice offers him a choice, too.
A stark one. Safety, the easy path, the known, the illusion he's questioning, or the unknown. The dark path, confronting himself, finding truth by facing his fears.
And he chooses the dark path.
He does. The path of inner confrontation. And it's on this path he meets Aina. They pass through the portal together into this new mysterious world, calm on the surface but tense, filled with these invisible energy waves. Their meeting feels fated.
They hear a voice together.
A single voice that embodies duality. Shadow and light, beginning and end, residing in a place that holds everything and nothing. Paradoxical.
This space fills with other voices, memories, fears.
Yeah, echoes of everything. They see a vision of Tarik's younger, scared self. The path forward changes constantly. It's dynamic, responsive. They feel closer to something, but they know the hardest tests are internal.
The path gets brighter. The place seems alive.
Very much so. Ground glows, air trembles. The life force of the place is observing them, interacting. The main instruction from the voice, find the source, where worlds intertwine, where harmony is born.
But there's a catch.
The challenge, yeah. Their actions in seeking it will affect these cosmic threads. They could restore balance or cause collapse. Extremely. And the key revelation for them, echoing the others but from a different angle, the source is inside them. The path isn't external. They have to listen to themselves, trust each other completely, and the way forward will just manifest. Their steps become part of this unfolding harmony.
They reach a glowing circle, or wheel.
Pulsing with light, yeah. The voice tells them, this is just the first step. To see the true path, they need to unite hearts, minds, merge souls in harmony.
They travel through some tough landscapes.
Unpredictable ones. Frozen plains, sliding sand, understanding the journey is irreversible now. Their biggest test, the voice confirms, is themselves.
Then the scene shifts dramatically. A glowing city.
Huge glowing city. Presented as the peak of our path. A physical manifestation created by harmony. They have to enter it together to truly grasp what harmony means.
And Tarik meets Aina there first.
At the entrance, yeah, their destinies linked. And then the others arrive.
Convergence.
Exactly. Lumis shows up with his device. Antom with his artifact, the source later calls it his sword, forged from the transformation. And Isley with her unique glow. This place is a nexus. Beginning and end. Eternity calls. And they realize, finally, they're not alone.
Wow. So this brings us to that profound moment. All five meet at the crossroads, the city entrance.
And immediately they face a collective threat. Approaching shadows, forces wanting to destroy. They gather their strength, but now as a unified group.
They fight the shadows.
They do. But the sources emphasize something more than just winning a fight. The shadow figures, when faced and overcome, transform into pure energy. And that energy gets absorbed into their new world.
So not just destruction, transformation.
Exactly. A powerful idea.
Yeah.
Even the darkest forces, when confronted and transformed, can become a source of light or creative power.
After the battle, there's this silence.
Yeah.
Oppressive.
Yeah. The world shifts again, space distorts, and Lumis voices this crucial point. They can't hold on to everything from the past. Choice, letting go, moving forward is absolutely necessary now.
And Tarik has a realization.
Coming from his internal journey, yeah. It resonates with all of them. A world that doesn't change isn't real. Eternity, in this context, isn't static. It demands constant change. They have to accept that. His words shift the focus. The real choice is internal, accepting this state of becoming.
So they collectively accept they need to transform themselves even further.
Right. Eternity has no room for stagnation, for what holds them back. They understand their new role, creators of a new reality. One where eternity and time, once opposed, can be unified. The texts are clear. They're ready. They accept the choice.
And the world responds again, transforms, brighter, unpredictable landscapes, cities emerging.
Their creation, its architects, shaping it with collective intent. And Aina has this deep insight. The cities aren't just structures, they're living organisms. The whole world is this pulsing entity they're connected to, developing, breathing. They're creating life itself.
So their combined choices, their actions, are weaving this complex, evolving reality.
They form a circle, uniting their energies. Antom's will, Aina's connection to life, Lumis's resolve, Tarik's wisdom. They channel that transformed shadow energy into this nascent world, the horizon, the boundary. It becomes transparent, revealing the boundless nature of what they're creating.
Aina understands the world is waiting for them to integrate with it. But Antom feels the weight of responsibility.
Yeah, the anxiety, influencing a reality that's constantly changing, constantly responding to them. That's huge.
Their journey continues, together now. Antom leading, feeling his steps change the world.
Lumis sees it as a new dawn. They sense this great force at play, understand they have to work with it.
Aina notes the lack of ordinary boundaries. They create their own limits within infinity. The world is tied to them. They need to find a way for their choice to persist in this boundless state.
Tarik feels the tension rising, space changing, being tested by this force, sensing the place is aware of their essence.
Lumis voices the truth. They can't know all the consequences, but they have to remember their responsibility. This journey isn't just something they're doing, it's creating them.
Right. Antom describes the new reality as deceptive. Sometimes feels aimless, maybe because the old rules are gone, but they are forming something unseen, something fundamental. Aina sees their actions as invisible fire, kindling new paths.
Antom and Tarik talk about the Song of the Wind.
Yeah, not always clear, but always there. The sources describe it as a real phenomenon, like the subtle feedback loop of this new reality, reflecting their choices, their actions. They have to learn to listen to it to find their way. No maps, no external rules.
They reach a summit, the fire in their hearts, their combined will, and a choice. Keep it or give it fully to the world they're creating.
Their path leads toward the shadows of eternity. Heavy silence. An impending trial. Boundaries blurring between shadow and dawnlight.
Lumis is focused on protection.
Resolute. Stay the path. Protect their new world from whatever darkness is coming.
But Tarik still sees it internally.
Still questioning. Sees the shadows not just as external, but part of their own struggle, their own becoming.
Lumis sees the trial as creation too.
More than a battle, yeah. An act of creating new reality, igniting their collective power to the max.
Aina brings it back to connection.
Crucial perspective. Their actions echo through the whole world. Each of them is part of that echo, the greatest victory, uniting their forces for something greater.
They reach a great valley, the world changing, the land that remembered.
Remembered what? Its potential, the possibility of change. It feels like a threshold, a new beginning dawning. Aina declares their arrival wasn't accidental. Their choice now can change worlds, rewrite reality.
Tarik steps up, states the gravity, one chance. This choice is for everyone. Create something new or just remake the old.
And Antom provides the push. Then let's go. Any decision better than indecision. If we want to change this world, we must act.
So they stand on a platform, the absolute threshold of the new world.
More than transition, the real beginning. Their choice touches every soul, every potential reality. They're architects and destroyers. Dismantle the old to build the new. Are they ready? The answer isn't spoken. It's in stepping forward.
They see structures, temples, towers, but different. Antom feels their hidden power. Ruin or salvation, depending on them.
Lumis finds no hints of the old logic. Tarik feels that intense, testing presence, constantly evaluating them.
Every step matters now. Every choice has immediate consequences in this responsive reality. An internal storm, shifting understanding. They see a stone obelisk, glowing runes.
A sign, a key point, demanding a crucial collective choice. They approach it.
They enter the shadows of eternity through an archway.
And it's not just a place. It's the boundary between worlds.
Yeah.
Time is elastic. Space is a living fabric. Antom states the truth. This place will change them. They have to allow it. Surrender to it.
The landscape abstracts even more.
Rocks crumble, pulled into infinite space. The arch rises behind them. No turning back. This is the turning point. Feel the place's power. Define their limits within it. Understand their capacity to change reality. The world demands they accept their transformed selves, their choice, to preserve this new eternity.
They pass the veil, a living, pulsing glow, the edge of new reality. Living potential, dead remnants. They face the challenge. Set limits, balance worlds, prevent ruin. Their path becomes the road to the heart of the world.
Wind changes, new horizons. Tarik feels the fire lines, the energy currents, knows instinctively, go to the heart for answers.
They enter a forest, encounter a dragon.
Classic archetypal test, right? The sources frame it as the ultimate trial to reach the heart. It will change them forever. Aina feels the magic, sees it as the stage where they define who they truly are now. Tarik feels the pressure mounting, approaching something world-changing.
Antom sums it up. Trial for all. Learn who we are. Protect or be changed.
They approach castle gates. Energy barrier. Explicitly attest. Overcome their greatest fears. Aina's intuition confirms it, and an unknown figure appears pure energy, eyes like stars.
What does it say?
The message is powerful. To pass, accept your own shadows. Fears, doubts. Leave them behind not by suppressing, but by integrating them.
Antom steps forward first, having faced his shadow.
Yeah. The barrier doesn't vanish. It becomes an abyss reflecting their combined doubts, fears. The shadow figure seems to absorb this energy. Antom declares for all. Ready to accept our choice, Aina adds. Time for change.
They step forward together.
Souls, hearts tested. Fears melt away, replaced by new, unified strength. The inner fire, the confronting shadows. They become part of their strength, part of their path. A voice affirms, approached heart of fire, no true essence, ready to burn to become new.
Antom steps into the fiery essence, embracing it.
Tarik agrees. They get it now. They must be ready to change fundamentally. Be different.
They continue. Each step changes them. The labyrinth of elements transforms with them. They're not who they started as. Inner selves merging with the flow. New challenge awaits, tied to the connection of time and space.
And Antom reminds them of their core principle. Remember, this is our path, and only we can decide how to go on.
They reach the gatekeeper of truths, huge gates from the void, light, shadow streams, reflecting unseen forces.
And Tarik has this moment of profound doubt. The path seems to be repeating, familiar corridors, disturbing reflections again, feeling that pull of endless circles. He asks, really anxious, are we going back?
But he accepts it, even the repetition.
He does. Having faced that fear before, he's ready for it to change their essence if needed. And he reassures him, shifting focus back to unity. Doesn't matter if it's a circle or a straight line, as long as they go together, deepening their self-knowledge.
The forest changes again.
Wind carries memories. Lightning flashes show paths to new realities. Space fills with sound choir, thunder, and reveals distorted reflections, lingering internal challenges.
Like what?
Antom looking confused, burdened. Lumis with a broken sword, maybe loss of the old way. Aina empty-eyed, potential loss of connection. Tarik embraced by darkness, facing that fear of endless cycles. Aina, though, attuned to the living space, leads them on, feeling its pulse, past and future voices.
But Antom still voices frustration, finding mysteries, not answers.
Yeah, that very human frustration. And Lumis just looks on, maybe thinking about his broken sword, what it means in a world where force isn't the main tool anymore.
So, okay, taking a step back from all this, what have we really pulled out from diving into these sources?
Well, we followed these incredible journeys, right? Antom challenging the system itself. Lumis and Isley finding power in unity. Tarik and Aina discovering truth within. We've seen them navigate these totally bizarre realities, face terrifying illusions, their own deepest fears,
Right.
converge at that critical point, and then take on this monumental task of collective creation.
The core insights seem really powerful and maybe relevant beyond just these texts.
I think so. Universally resonant, maybe. They suggest reality isn't fixed. It might be shaped by our consciousness, our choices, that real power isn't always destruction, but often acceptance, transformation of ourselves, even of things we see as negative.
Like the shadows becoming energy.
Exactly. That facing our internal fears, our own shadows, is essential for any real external progress. That choice isn't just picking A or B, it's a creative force. It actually brings new possibilities into being.
In connection, unity, trust, they're not just helpful, they actually amplify strength.
Exponentially, it seems, yeah.
And it's clear this isn't a journey with an endpoint, is it?
No, not at all. It's ongoing, continuous change, becoming, tied completely to the evolving reality they're creating, that song of the wind.
Right.
It's not just poetry. It's like a metaphor for learning to listen to the subtle rhythm of this new world, a reality that responds to their very existence.
So for you, listening to this deep dive, maybe it offers a different way to think about your own life.
Perhaps. How do you challenge the accepted realities around you? What weight, what creative power do you give your own choices?
And how important is it to face your own internal stuff, your fears, limitations, to actually move forward?
It makes you consider, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If these sources have a point, if reality is partly shaped by choice and consciousness, then what reality are you actively creating right now?
Yeah.
With your actions, your thoughts?
And maybe, what illusions or fills might you need to accept or transform to step onto your next path?